What is going on, everybody? This is Purple Parlor. It's your boy SK Randy Rap here to bring you another great episode right after this, y'all.
I say the same. I say the same. I say the same. All right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another week and another episode of the Purple Parlor with myself, Realistic Randy Rap. We are here in the building. How we feeling, fellas?
I mean, cut day is tomorrow. The final cut, anyway. The 13 that they did today. I think probably the only one that I took a step back, not really shocked, but just I thought he had a shot to make it. Owen Porter, but everybody else, it was just okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's an exciting time of the year because we're about to really see what the roster looks like, what the plans are. You could start to really kind of see the vision after tomorrow. So, because there is going to be players that we're going to be probably shocked about tomorrow for sure, like at least a couple. But again, today was obvious, like just like Randy said to me. It was obvious, man. Matt Corral, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was a camp body. I think we all understood the assignment for that. But we'll get down to it. Before we get to that, we got to do a little bit of shout outs here. We got some people waiting for us. We got Mary Fist tapping in as always. Thank you, Mary. Skull Mafia tapping in. Purple Gang 18 days. I'm in Minnesota. SK. I expect to be in VWO, New York before I leave the city.
Hey,
we'll see what we can do. See what we can do, brother. And then we also got Delton in the house as always since day one. Thank you, Delton, for tapping in. Those look like our main three that popped in the first time, so appreciate you guys popping in, man.
For sure.
Man, last preseason game of the year. It's all real now. Like we're talking about, cuts come up tomorrow, and after cuts, we're getting ready for the New York Giants week 1, and it's right around the corner, and you can smell the football in the air if you couldn't already. So I'm excited. But just real quick, we'll kind of go over the last preseason game. I know it was kind of a lot of guys that are kind of bubble guys or fringe players that may or may not make the team that played last game. But who really stood out to you guys in that final preseason game?
Go ahead, Randy. You tell him.
So SK, let's take a visit back to last week real quick. When you was raising all holy hell, shaking your ass for Nick Mullins, saying that clearly he's a guy that you trust if Sam Darnold is to go down as the QB1. Nick Mullins, he has the experience. Who the hell is Jaren Hall? Why are we even wasting our time talking about Jaren Hall? Well, speaking of the last game, actually, we can look at, the entire preseason that he had. 28 of 46 for 339 yards. Didn't play all 3 games in its entirety. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Got sacked 3 times, maneuvering around in the pocket. Displayed good talent with both his arms and his legs. Did stuff that Nick Mullins, as soon as you start to feel good about a fantastic play that he makes, right before you can even give a high five to somebody, he shits the bed right away. At least with Jaren Hall, he makes big plays and you feel comfortable that he can make yet another big play. So you tell me who stood out to you, SK, or come up with reasons for why that was just a fluke-ass game and why Nick Mullins still reigns supreme. The floor.
Right, so Nick Mullins has already done what he's needed to do to be QB2.
Okay.
That's why he didn't play in the 3rd preseason game. And the coaching staff agrees with that.
No, I don't know.
No, don't do that. No, don't do
that.
If QB2 was up for discussion, Nick Mullins would have played.
I don't agree with that.
No one's disagreeing with you.
Okay.
On that aspect, yes. But you can't take that route. You can't go the route, well, the coaching staff, Nick Mullins didn't play, so clearly he's a QB. We know Nick Mullins is going to be the QB2. Tell me why what we saw from Jaren Hall this preseason doesn't amount to the glorified Nick Mullins and the future statue that he's going to get outside US Bank Stadium. Don't tell me what the coaches decided. We already know what they decided.
The most glorifying that I give Mullins is that he's QB2. And that's my glorifying. I mean, Jaren Hall, not that he was fighting for the QB3 spot, but his competition was Matt Corral. His competition wasn't Nick Mullins. And if we want to talk about quarterbacks that look great this preseason, I mean, where's the hyping up of Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson threw nearly 300 yards in preseason game 3.
Zach Wilson's on his second team. We're talking about Jaren Hall in his second year on the same team.
Yeah.
That's fine, but it's not impressive to me. It's just not.
I just don't get. He's
playing against his equals.
My thing is this. My thing is this, SK. Like, and it's okay. I get it. You like Nick Mullins as if you like. I mean, you don't.
Nick Mullins is a better quarterback than Jaren Hall,
bro.
It's not that I like. It's not that I like Nick Mullins more than Jaren Hall, which I do. But Nick Mullins is a better quarterback than Jaren Hall. Now, I will tell you this: next offseason and next preseason, Jaren Hall will probably be the better quarterback. I'll give you that. But right now, Nick Mullins is the better quarterback.
I don't know if I agree with that. And another thing I don't.
I've seen Nick Mullins against starters, and I've
seen
Nick Mullins against second string players. We haven't seen Jaren Hall, at least this year, do that in preseason. We saw him last year, and it wasn't very.
My thing is this: we seen Nick Mullins against it, and he asked though. That's the deal. He still asked against second and
against
third.
First team defenses too in the regular season.
First team, he definitely.
Okay, and there's a reason why we haven't seen Jaren Hall against first and second stringers. There's a reason
what I'm saying,
why.
What I'm saying is this:
3.
This could be true though. Is this is the year where Jaren Hall is starting to come alive. Like if you look at the past 2 preseason games, he looks a lot more comfortable. Like if you watch him from when you see him, he looks comfortable now.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
And my thing is this: Nick Mullins is not a hard. He shouldn't be hard to beat out, man. Like Jaren Hall, and the Vikings went out and drafted Jaren Hall too, which makes it even more like important for me to look at it like, man, this needs to be your QB2 because he actually needs to be QB2 going into next season when JJ McCarthy comes back. I feel like you need JJ McCarthy, Jaren Hall. Like that needs to be the duo.
You get another veteran quarterback to sit behind JJ McCarthy.
For what?
Why?
This will be Jaren Hall's third year in the offense, bro. He'll know the offense.
You don't keep another young quarterback behind your young franchise quarterback. You look, me and Randy were on the same boat with the whole fucking Sean Mannion shit. I can't stand Sean Mannion. And that was more so because Kirk Cousins was an 8-year veteran in the league. And we're sitting here dragging along Sean Mannion. Now that you have a guy, which essentially it's JJ McCarthy's rookie year, you don't put another young guy behind him that's not a vet. You don't.
9 times out of 10, though, if you have to go to your backup quarterback, your season's over anyway. So if we're saying we need a veteran backup, then we're just doing it for style points, which I don't even know if that's the case when comparing Nick Mullins to Jaren Hall. In fact, SK, do we have the image ready that we talked about earlier today?
Which one?
No, we'll stall. You know what? Hey, Rap, let's stall real quick while SK gets it. Yeah. I know exactly why SK doesn't like Jaren Hall at all. This dude,
I'm working on it. You
remember last week he talked about the whole Tua thing and how he's soft. His words, not mine. Actually, both of y'all words, not mine.
Right.
He's a soft guy, and I played quarterback, and that's just how in high school, and that's how quarterbacks are treated, right?
Yeah.
Saturday's game, it all came together. I understand why this dude. Do we have the image available?
I'm trying to load it up. I'm trying to load it.
Rap stall for me real quick.
Yeah. He knew it was coming. He didn't want to upload.
No. It wasn't scrolling for me, so it wasn't allowing me to add any photos.
Is it allowing you to add now?
Yeah.
Oh, what a coincidence. Yeah, you can't get it.
So read off the Jaren Hall preseason stats again.
His preseason stats for like overall
This year.
Okay. 28 of 46, 15 yards per attempt, 60% or 61% completion rate, 339 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 3 sacks.
Okay. You know whose stats those compare to? Zach Wilson, who went 28 for 44.
Are you a Zach Wilson fan now, bro?
28.
Are you a Zach Wilson
Hey,
fan
if we're gonna
Wow.
sit here,
Let's
sit here
go.
and jerk Jaren Hall off, I'm gonna sit here and jerk Zach Wilson off. No Diddy,
Bro,
so he was 20. He was 28 for 44, 14.7 yards per pass, a 63.6 completion percentage, 397 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 132.3. So if we're sitting here and we're gonna hype up Jaren Hall, let's hype up Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson
I'm a Zach Wilson
is
fan,
amazing.
so yeah,
Zach
I'm a
Wilson
Wilson.
has been
Wilson
amazing. Like, let's
But
stop it right
my
now,
thing
guys.
is this though, man. Zach Wilson been in the league like what? Zach Wilson got drafted what? 2 years before him, or what is it?
And this is the first time Zach Wilson has had an offensive-minded head coach. Not that he's going to go out there and be some world beater by any means. And I'll admit, I was one of the guys when Zach Wilson came out of college. I was a Zach Wilson fan. I thought he was going to ball, and I was wrong. But this is the first year under offensive-minded head coach, and it's showing dividends.
I'm glad you gave us those stats of Zach Wilson, even though this is very much apples to oranges. But nevertheless, I'm very happy. It is. But those stats that you provided saying, well, they're the same as Jaren Hall. Either way, let's talk about Nick Mullins' stats in the preseason. The one game he played, 11 for 21, a 52% completion rate for 135 yards.
Nasty
yeah, he threw a touchdown and no interceptions, 3 sacks. 3 sacks.
Beautiful
a
ball to
52% completion rate.
Hey, baby.
So you want to do stats? You want to do that whole spreadsheet thing?
Yeah.
All right, justify these bum ass stats that Nick Mullins put up.
Hey, baby, sling it.
With the experience. Okay.
And chat, just so y'all know, chat, we're only having this conversation because we had it earlier behind the scenes.
No, we had it. We had it last week's show.
We had a little bit last week's show too.
Last week's show.
For some reason, SK has all the faith in the world in Nick Mullins.
I have more faith in Mullins than I do in Jaren Hall. That's what the argument.
The eye test and the stats tell you, SK, that Nick Mullins is butt ass. You just are just digging. You're digging your feet in the sand at this point. Do we have the image available?
There's nothing special that Jaren Hall has done that has convinced me and the coaching staff apparently that he should be quarterback 2 on this roster. Nothing. You've done good in preseason against 3rd and 4th stringers. Guys are going to be working bouncer at the club in the next 2 weeks. Let's be real. He's playing guys that aren't going to be in the league anymore.
All right, well, let's talk. Let's do this. Let's switch it. Let's switch it to who Nick Mullins was throwing the ball to. You know what I mean?
The same dude Jaren Hall was.
Well, no, that's what I really meant to say from the last preseason game, because then we could switch it over to speaking a little bit about the wide receivers on the team, because I think that's a good conversation too. You know, we could sit here and beat the backup quarterbacks to death. Honestly, we really need to just hope that our number 1 quarterback, Sam Darnold, does his thing. That's the facts. That's what we really did. Y'all see they did like the tier thing today, the QB tier, and they got Darnold. I think it's like a 5-tier, how they grade it, and they got him like number 4. He's in like the 4th tier.
Yeah, probably right where he's gonna be for the most part. I mean,
damn, for real? You think he's gonna be that ass? That's pretty ass, bro.
Well, I'm not.
They got him like in the category with like Justin Fields and.
I wouldn't put him necessarily that low with Justin Fields. I put him in the same category as probably Baker Mayfield, but same level as Baker Mayfield, but at the bottom of that same level, if that makes sense.
SK, bring this image on real quick. Bring this image on.
I'm
real
trying
quick.
to make room for it right now.
Randy over there cooking, boy.
No, because you're trying to sneak away with this.
No, I'm not. I swear I'm not.
And this is the only thing that makes perfect sense as far as why you hate Jaron Hall so much.
Yeah, we do need to bring the image
and it's
on.
not going to do it any justice if I sit here and explain it. Like there needs to be a visual here. I have it, but if we can't get it,
I think we can do it too, Randy. You actually have access to. Hold on, I'll do it.
So it's there. It's just SK needs to bring it on the.
You already added it to the share screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, how convenient! You're trying to. All right. While SK is trying to figure this out, I have a question for Rap and everybody in the chat right now. Has anyone ever seen SK and Will Grier in the same room? You may be following that up with a response of who the hell is Will Grier? I'll tell you who Will Grier is.
Yeah.
Will Grier is the QB4 of the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe he got cut today. If not, he'll certainly be cut tomorrow. But I discovered him in Saturday's game, Vikings versus Eagles, in which case I said, oh, it all makes sense now. SK is Will Grier. SK hates Jaron Hall so much because SK has been getting outperformed by Jaron Hall.
Damn.
He's trying to make it into the league. Look at him right there. Look at that stance. Oh my
gosh, bro. Like I'm telling you.
He played quarterback in high school.
Crazy.
There he is. And when there was one drive he had and he took his helmet off and came like back to the sidelines with Sirianni or whatever. And I was on the live stream. I was like, holy shit. It looks like SK. That's him.
Johnny, boy.
So now, Johnny. He's so bitter. He's so bitter about Jaron Hall that he's willing to say anything, even if it means Nick Mullins is better, even though the stats say otherwise. This is why. There he was on Saturday. You slick somebody.
It all makes sense now. Hey, Delton, man, the plot thickens. You hear me?
That's him.
I'm trying to get the other ones going here. Hold on.
I mean, look at that. Look at that side profile.
That is crazy. Look at him. Look at SK out there playing for the Eagles too, bro. Like what type of
chill.
Hey, dog. You couldn't pick a different team.
Chill.
That's him. It all makes sense.
It all makes sense now, man. You know what, Randy, man, you put that together very nicely, man. Now I understand, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the chat should too.
Got the nerve to wear the Vikings hat too right now on this show.
I'm telling you, this is why.
Double agent.
This is why, man. For sure.
Hey, the real question is Rap, I'm just happy that you're gonna make the 53-man roster, my guy.
Hey, and I heard you say like that look like, bro, does that look like me? I don't think I look like him. I mean,
that looks like
cool. He cool though.
That's you with dreads, bro. That's you with dreads.
Okay, that's my boy.
I'm just glad you made the 53-man, dog.
Hey, let's go. Hey, look here. If people believe I look like him, bro, then that's gonna be one of my that's my new favorite player, bro, for sure. I'm rocking with the Jackson.
We need a side-by-side very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I got you. For sure. That's fine.
Very soon.
That's you with hair.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't, just so you know, SK, I can't grow dreads, bro. I've had dreads when I was younger, bro. I'm in my mid-30s now, 3 children and a wife. Bro.
Rap wears a hat for a reason, y'all.
Exactly. My hair gone, bro. I'm a skinhead.
He said I'm a skinhead. So if you guys want to make that an excuse, you know, if I'm real Will Grier, I got cut today by the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a free agent.
They said now we need a Randy's. Well, somebody go out and do your homework.
Do your homework.
Find Randy. Find Randy in the NFL. I'm sure there's somebody. You know, we all got a little.
Yeah, your NFL doppelganger. So that's everybody's homework for the week. Find Randy's twin NFL.
So next Monday, somebody needs to drop the name in the chat, and we're gonna pull it up, man. Let's see how good you guys are.
My investigative reporting, man. I watch 48 Hours all the time, every single night.
Yeah.
When I saw that image of Will Greer, I said,
Bro, that was crazy.
all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It's the beard.
It
Yep.
is.
Beard's
Even
gotta go
SK.
now.
So no, we saw it front and side profile. That's
Yeah.
you.
Like you could tell too, because even SK knows too. Like when you know somebody got it right, and you just got to look at it and be like, "Damn, I ain't gonna lie, like that
white guy with a beard. That's
with the
usually-
same beard, yeah, you in there. But y'all do have kind of the same facial structure too. So hey, that's some good shit, man. I ain't gonna lie, you got a twin, bro.
XFL bound. Let's get it.
Let's
But
get
Nick
it, man.
Mullins, Nick Mullins will be QB2, fine, and then we'll revisit this topic again next year.
Yeah,
let's
sure.
revisit
Maybe
it
Matt
once the
Corral
actual
down the
depth
line.
chart drops.
It won't matter next year because JJ McCarthy is going to be QB.
Yeah, next year I wouldn't even. None of the other quarterbacks'
Doesn't
names would
matter.
even be in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keep it real. Yeah,
Doesn't
but
even matter.
we can move on to the wide receivers again. I know we touched on this because I think the wide receivers is actually one of the more interesting groups on our team. I know we touched on this last week, but now that tomorrow's the actual day and we got the last preseason game out the way. I mean, how are we feeling about the wide receiver room? Who's staying? Who's going? I mean, the chat, y'all can drop down in the comments too. Drop your, what did we usually keep? 5 or 6? I think like 6, right? Usually?
Last year we kept 6, I believe.
Drop the 6 receivers in the chat so y'all participate, man. Drop which ones y'all think are staying. Yeah, and then you go ahead, SK. You started out, man. What we thinking?
I mean, you got to be confident in who we have in the wide receiver room. I mean, literally, they've looked like the best wide receiver group in the league this preseason. I don't think there's been another team where wide receivers have performed this well from the top down. Obviously, Justin Jefferson hasn't played. Did Jordan Addison play week 1?
I think briefly the first
game.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
So, but he didn't do much. He ended up getting hurt in the joint practices with Cleveland. So obviously he didn't play in the last 2 games. But everybody else down from that. And Brandon Powell had a few catches, nothing too extraordinary. But I don't think that KOC in this offense was necessarily trying to put Brandon Powell in the forefront. They were focused on, hey, Tristan Jackson, you're going to be our Justin Jefferson today. Lucky Jackson, you're going to be our Jordan Addison. Or actually, Jalen Naylor was more so the Justin Jefferson at the beginning of the preseason. And then Tristan Jackson started coming into his own. I believe he had 4 touchdown catches this preseason.
Ooh, Tristan?
Yeah, Tristan. I think he had 4 touchdowns this preseason.
Did he have 4 or 3? I thought
he's got. Well, I'll give you his total numbers this preseason. He's had in 3 games 9 catches for 154 yards and 3 scores.
Yeah.
And I think he led the league in preseason with receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken, unless somebody came and had some monster game in the last preseason game. But going into that last preseason game, he was leading all receivers in receiving yards for the preseason. So, I mean, just top down, this is a really good wide receiver room. Really and good. When you have tough decisions down the line where it's like, okay, well, who's going to be our 4th and 5th guy? You know, McCarthyism is talking crazy right now, talking about Jackson.
McCarthyism, I say, been watching Jackson this offseason.
Yeah,
innit?
You don't want to
cringe. Don't do that, cringe. I'm telling you.
But with the receivers he named right here, I think this is our 6. You have now it's not in the same order, I would say. I say it'd be Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, Jackson, Powell, Sherfield. And it all depends on
but okay.
Yeah. Hey, has Tristan Jackson not played like the wide receiver 4?
He has, but I'm saying like if you like we just talked about with the quarterback, you know what I mean? The coaches obviously don't feel the same because they didn't have Powell out there. So they obviously meaning like he's a lockup for wide receiver.
I think they keep 6 guys.
Yeah, I think they keep 6.
That if it's so obviously after the first 3 with Naylor being wide receiver 3, Tristan 4, probably Brandon Powell at 5, and then take your pick of Sherfield or Lucky Jackson at 6.
No, come on, Randy, don't do that.
I think you have to. You don't have any tight ends that you can feel good about as long as Hawk is out. We thought that N'Keal Harry could switch him from wide receiver to tight end, that he would make an impact. He's been awful this preseason. Robert Tonyan might get cut. He hasn't even been practicing. He's been hurt or not hurt. I don't know what the hell's been going on with him. So what, you're going to go into the season with just 5 receivers.
No, 6.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Whoever that 6th receiver is, whether it's Sherfield, Lucky Jack. All right, fine. Are we really going to sit here and have a whole ass discourse about wide receivers?
About Sherfield because Lucky, and I'm gonna tell you why. Lucky Jackson might just have me upset after yesterday's game or Saturday's game due to the fact of not understanding the toe drag, bruh. Like he did have the crazy catch with the helmet, but he messed up Jaron Hall. 2 beautiful touchdowns, dog.
Poor Jaron Hall.
2 beautiful touchdowns, bro. The toe drag. If that was Jackson on the other end of that, SK, those would have been 2 touchdowns. Facts. And I have to say that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
For
still,
sure.
they're going to keep 6 receivers.
Yeah,
because the tight end room is abysmal. You're going to go into the season starting with Johnny Munt, Josh Oliver, and Nick Muse. So I feel like by default you have to have 6 receivers.
Yeah, and I just think like they didn't play Sheffield. They didn't play Sheffield like that, so it makes me believe that maybe they already had the wide receiver like setup already kind of done even before last game. Like maybe just gave a couple guys one more shot to kind of prove themselves. You could tell because after Jackson caught that first touchdown, bro, they took him right out. Like it was over with. It's like, all right, bro,
he shouldn't have even played.
Like you sewed it up, dog. After that last touchdown, like you sewed it up. You good. You on the team. You good.
And the 3rd preseason game, and obviously used to be 4 preseason games, whatever the last preseason game is, a majority of guys that are playing are just camp bodies. Like they're playing to hopefully get picked up by another team and get a check. That's what these last games are. So a lot of the guys that played in this last preseason game won't be on the roster. And we had a big handful of them cut today. We're not going to go over that list. I don't think Randy said there wasn't anybody that was necessarily a name worth mentioning. Right. Tomorrow there is going to be some names.
I mean, Mo Ibrahim. I was like, well, damn, he didn't even get a chance to run though. It's like, why even waste the dude's time?
As soon as he got signed, we knew what it was.
Yeah, but why waste his time and not even let him run in the game?
That's the NFL. That's the NFL. They sign dudes all the time. I hate that. I hate that though. Like
it's
they
like,
sign
bro,
guys
you fly
all the time.
me in. You know, and he's from Minnesota or something. But anyway, you bring him in, you get him all fitted, get the jersey knitted and all that shit, and then you just say, nah, you're not gonna play, especially at the running back position, because you could easily say, hey, we're running a fucking dive right here. You know what I mean? Like you don't really got to know the playbook like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I mean, you have to know the playbook, but you can put some plays in where the running back just understands football. And it's like, damn, you ain't even give him a chance to run the ball and he get cut. That's fucked up.
Yeah, we brought him in for profile pictures. Go ahead, suit up.
Story.
You literally came in to take pictures. You had to go through the physical, all that bullshit. Pass the physical just to get cut. Damn.
Hey, he got paid for it. He got paid for
it. The NFL is king of wasting people's time.
Yeah, that's a waste of time
all the time. It's a good story. Go for legend. Bring him on. But we knew once it was announced. Yeah. That's why I'm like, I'm not even going to do a video on this because I know in a couple of days, when it's time to make the final cuts, he's going to be gone.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say too that I was getting wrong, bro. I don't know why I was thinking this, but I remember I was talking about Nudie. And for some reason, you know who I got Nudie mixed up with from last year that I really liked? It was Jalen Williams. And now he got cut. I seen he was on that list. And he was the UDFA, I think from Arkansas as well. I think he played in Arkansas. And I thought he would actually make like a more of a push this season because last year's preseason game, I don't know if people remember, but he had like that really one good game. I think it was against the Cardinals last year where he had the pick and had some nice tackles and shit. He played for Indiana. Okay, yeah. And I really liked him. And to see him on the list was kind of shocking. I kind of forgot about him, but for some reason I was associating him and Nudie together. So I know there was a video where I was talking about, no, this Nudie second year because I was just rambling and shit, but I had to correct myself because I'm like, dang, I thought those two were the same, to be honest with you. But shout out to Nudie, though. Nudie making the team for sure, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's
I think
the difference between Jalen Williams and Nudie is night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, with Jalen Williams being gone, that's not a shocker at all. Exactly. That last game was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's understandable. But let's move to, I mean, if we're kind of going down interesting roster position spots, I mean, let's talk about the running back room. Obviously, Aaron Jones is going to make it. Ty Chandler, that's going to be the 1-2 punch. After that, it's Kane and Myles Gaskin. Are both of those guys making the team or just one?
I think they should.
I think
I really do.
Yeah, I think both should, honestly. or at least, I mean, hopefully you can keep. But the way Myles Gaskin been running, man, the past couple games, bro, I don't think he would make it through. Like, because he would go on practice squad, right? Like, and
Gaskin.
So he's not going to get through waivers. I
Yeah,
don't
he won't.
like somebody's going to need an insurance policy at RB3
and
somewhere,
he's like that. Yeah.
and you have that right now on the team, and you can just keep Kane on the shelf as a return man
Yeah.
and let Gaskin do the work as that third running back. I think you have to, because again, wide receiver and running back, they both have to in some way carry a heavier load going back to that tight end position. I at this point, based off of the expectations that I had going into training camp preseason with tight end, and based off of what we've seen and what's transpired with injuries and poor performance, I expect almost nothing from the tight end room, which means that you need a lot more from the wide receivers and the running backs. And so that means if you do cut Myles Gaskin, are you really saying that you truly trust Kane to carry that load, to divvy up equal shares of having fresh legs? Because you don't want to run Aaron Jones into the ground. Ty Chandler still needs to prove himself to a degree. You're going to need a solid RB3. I think you need Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, no, what makes that a little bit cloudy is the whole CJ Ham thing. Obviously, KLC's offense doesn't require a fullback, and we haven't really used CJ Ham. I think he ran like 9% of plays last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Find out right now.
So
he's just a roster spot that's based off of personality, leadership. I'm not gonna say it's a waste of spot. I'm not gonna go crazy like that, because I actually like CJ Ham, and I do believe leadership is a big thing for a winning football team. Like, you need that guy that just could be that leader. I think CJ Ham carries that. So I'm not gonna go hard on him, but again, it does make it a little bit more difficult when you are trying to bring the most talent on your 53 man, because you have pretty much a spot that, like we're talking about now, like SK said, it's like, damn, I would like to keep Gaskins and Kane on the roster together. But now if you're keeping CJ Ham, one of those guys has to get the chop, bruh.
CJ Ham played in 19% of the offensive snaps last year. And I, for a strong run game, I like the idea of having the strong fullback. It's the position that's been left behind, but you got guys like Kyle Juszczyk, CJ Ham, but also that's what you somewhat have Josh Oliver for, even though it's out of position. You can run those 21 formation or 12 formations and have Josh Oliver out there as the swing blocker for an Aaron Jones. I just don't. This will really be tough. I didn't even consider this. I just figured CJ Ham is just automatically on this roster until he retires. But push come to shove, now that we're having this conversation, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone.
And when we think about it, if you go back and, I mean, obviously we're in division, we peep in and kind of check out what's going on in Packers game at the very least. Aaron Jones never really ran with a fullback. I don't even think the Packers roster a fullback. So he prefers to run out of a single back formation. So CJ Ham has got to do a little bit more. And it's not CJ Ham's fault. KOC's got to be able to use him in more ways than just being a fullback. And when the season ended last year, and obviously TJ Hawkinson went down towards the end of the year, my thing was, if CJ Ham is going to stay on this roster, he's going to have to turn into kind of the modern day Kleinsasser. You have the same kind of build as Kleinsasser does. You have the catching ability. We've seen it before. You have the run after catch. So I would like to see CJ Ham in more of an H-back type of feel, to where how Randy was kind of describing what Josh Oliver would be doing. I would like to see CJ Ham do that. So become more of that H-back, to where you slide in that tight end position. We know you can block. Now, obviously, that's a different type of blocking when you're coming up on the line of scrimmage as a tight end than it is to being the lead blocker as a fullback. But I believe CJ Ham can do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if KOC already has some packages drawn up to where CJ Ham is playing that type of H-back position. But he's got to be playing more than 19%. of offensive plays here, because you're paying a guy towards the top end of his position in the league. Now, not every team rosters a fullback, so it's kind of watered down, but you're paying him pretty good money to only play 19% of snaps, and then you bring in a running back who is not necessarily used to running behind a fullback and maybe not wants to run behind a fullback. So I got to see a little bit of more CJ Ham in the passing game and kind of as that H-back kind of guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good call. Like again, I'm not upset that CJ Ham's going to be on the 53-man roster due to the fact, like I said, I know Delton said he needs to be cut, but again, he does bring value, whether you believe that's his play or you just believe that that's his leadership. And to be honest with you, man, CJ Ham, hey, he can move for a big dude, bro. Like, for real, like if it came down to having to put him at a running back, I mean, look, you ain't going to be running no sweeps or nothing. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you just need some power running, boy, just turn around, hand it off to him. But he gets some yards now. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, hey, look, it's not a big deal to me, man. Shout out CJ Ham, man. I don't mind.
I don't think he gets cut. I don't think there's any chance he gets cut.
Honestly, I've been swayed a little bit. I think it just comes down to KOC. Is he willing to commit to that I formation type of package more to justify the value of CJ Ham? Playing 19% of the snaps last year, push come to shove, I'd rather have a stronger RB3 in Myles Gaskin. Yeah. I really would. I wouldn't be surprised now if he gets cut.
I can agree with that. You wouldn't be surprised if Ham gets cut?
If Ham gets cut now, just off of this conversation, because SK, you're saying that we need to see more of CJ Ham. Well, KOC needs to, if that's the case, he needs to insert CJ Ham more. He's not on the field very often. For less than a fifth of the plays last year, what's the point of that? It's up to the play caller. If you're not going to call those formations, those designs that requires a fullback that you have on this roster, then what's the point of keeping them?
Yeah.
Bro, if CJ Ham gets cut, brother, I think the fan base will react very, very sour.
They'll go off.
So here's the thing with CJ Ham. Logically, when it comes to football terms and scheme and everything, he should be cut. And again, this isn't anything personal against CJ Ham. This is
KOC scheme.
This is not us saying that CJ Ham can't do this or can't do that. Doesn't deserve to be on this team necessarily. But logically and logistically wise, it doesn't make sense when it comes to your scheme.
Right.
But when it comes to leadership in the locker room, when it comes to one of your captains on the team, which he's one of the captains on the team, you don't just cut a captain right before the season starts. It just doesn't happen. And we've seen this before with the Vikings, maybe not necessarily this particular situation to where a guy's not playing as much, but we've seen guys where they get towards the end of their career and they should be cut or they should be traded, but there's such a force, whether it be leadership in the locker room or whether it be a captain, that it gets a little drawn out longer than what it probably should be. So if CJ Ham gets cut, I would be extremely surprised, because time and time again, we had the same argument last season that CJ Ham just doesn't fit into this offensive scheme. He shouldn't be on this roster, but he's a leader. He's a captain on this team, and there's no way a team is going to cut a captain right before the season. So I would be shocked in that case. But if we're just talking about schematics wise, he probably should be traded or cut.
Right.
And again, that's nothing against CJ Ham.
Yeah. And KOC showed us this preseason right here. I mean, look, I'm hoping that he sticks to his words, but the actions aren't speaking very loud right now. When he said he's going to commit to the run this season, because based off of this preseason, he throwing the ball, dog. That's just what it is. Like, he just can't help it. He can't help it, bruh. He wants to throw the ball. I don't care who the quarterback is. My boy gonna make him throw at least 30, 40 times, bro. And that's where I'm worried about. I know this is a whole different conversation about QB1, but that's where I'm kind of worried about how this season is going to look, man, depending on how much pressure and how much trust he's going to put in number 14, to be honest.
I also think he stated that before JJ McCarthy was hurt. Now, when you have a
Yeah.
rookie quarterback in there, you want to have a strong run game, especially with where JJ McCarthy came from in Michigan, which they're a run first program and they're
Mhm.
going to predicate the pass off of the run. And that's why KOC was saying we're going to commit more to the run, alleviate that pressure from our rookie quarterback, and then it'd make things a whole lot easier if we have a successful run game. Now it's a little bit different. Now, I would like to have a strong run game behind Sam Darnold,
Me
obviously,
too.
especially because
You need it.
teams already know. Pin your ears back, get pressure on Sam Darnold, and it's not going to be a very fun day for Sam Darnold.
Right.
I'm not jumping on the whole
At least
bandwagon.
that's what the
Sam
evidence
Darnold.
shows right now. That's what the
Exactly.
evidence shows on
But
him.
that's where a strong run game
Yeah.
and hopefully a strong offensive line just in general, which hopefully we can figure things out in the interior offense line, which we'll touch on kind of the news on that on the interior right after this. But you got to have a strong run game if you have a weakness or a young quarterback behind center. And we obviously have a weakness at quarterback. So you're going to have a strong run game, but we'll see. He said that when McCarthy was on his way of taking that QB1 position. And I'm positive that JJ McCarthy was on his way of winning that job. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
The thing is now, to have a strong run game doesn't necessarily require that you have to have a fullback, let alone a strong fullback. That, as you pointed out, SK, it brought the way you illustrated it made me think back to the Packers when whether it's Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon in the
Always
backfield.
single
It's just them. It's just
Always
them
single
back there. They don't have any lead blockers. And is KOC willing to overhaul his playbook to implement more than 19% of offensive snaps played by CJ Ham? I think the only argument against cutting him, that if they don't cut him, is what you guys brought up, Rap and SK, is that leadership, which they have shown before with Harrison Smith, where it was like, maybe it's time to go ahead and let him go. But what they ended up restructuring his contract, whatever it was, for him to stay. Are they going to do that again with CJ Ham? The more that we talk about it, the more I'm like, oh, this actually makes sense, as hard as that is to say.
Yeah, and I'm checking how many years he has left on his deal. This might be his last year on this deal. And if we're being honest, this is maybe the last year that CJ Ham is on roster. He's 31 years old, so he's getting up there in NFL terms. He's getting up there in age. But again, it's schematic-wise, it doesn't make sense, especially when you bring in a running back like Aaron Jones. Alexander Mattison was different. I felt like he was kind of used to running behind a fullback half the time. Aaron Jones and that Green Bay offense, they don't roster a fullback. They don't have a fullback on that roster. And if I'm being honest, if they ever brought somebody back there to play kind of the fullback role, it was Robert Tonyan when he was on the Packers, which was a few years back, because I believe he made a stop in there. Yeah, he made a stop in Chicago.
You can put Josh Oliver back there if you want. If you want to run some fullback packages, put Josh Oliver back. You signed him. He's this great blocking tight end. Hell, have his ass block.
Yeah, I agree. And he's fast, so he can, get Josh Oliver got speed. He can get through there and hit them blocks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree, man.
So after this season, the team has a potential out from the CJ Ham contract, and it would be a little over $500,000 in dead cap. Little over $500,000, or $500,000 dead cap. But if you don't, you got at least another year after 2025.
I think they're gonna let him finish out his contract as a Viking, man. I think they're committed to him. He's been a Viking his whole career. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? To let him, but just say, hey, man, after this contract, just know, we're gonna probably be going different directions. So if you want to retire at that point, that's cool. Probably those conversations will be had. You never know. We'll see what happens.
We'll find out tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern.
He's not getting cut.
Tell you what. I'm not rooting for or against it. I'm just saying.
I know, but I'm saying that would be shocking. It would be shocking, though.
Yeah, I honestly think he's going to play that H-back tight end position, at least till TJ Hawkinson gets back.
Yeah.
in my opinion. I think he's going to do a lot more in this offense than what we think, and do some things that we haven't seen him do just yet.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of blocking, we got to talk about the interior offensive line real quick, which again, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about interior offensive line.
It's important.
It's important, but
This season, I bet we are actually.
Well, during
we'll
this,
we'll be doing a
right
ton of
now.
videos. Yeah.
I'm talking about right now. So,
sure.
Dalton Risner went on IR, which he'll be out at least the first 4 weeks of the season, which leaves the starting guards to Blake Brandale and our guy Ed Ingram. Obviously, I think we all know the answer to: are we comfortable with that interior offensive line? Obviously, I can bring up Garrett Bradbury as well. I mean, how do we feel about Ed Ingram starting at least the first 4 games of the season at right guard? I believe
Go ahead, Randy.
Right guard, right? And Brandell's left guard.
Yeah.
Cook, Randy.
What's really sad about this whole situation is if there's any sort of glimmer of hope to reach for, to try to convince yourself that optimism is the way, is to root for Blake Brandel somehow turning into the guy that this coaching staff believes in. Because Garrett Bradbury, we can talk about Ed Ingram all we want. We know he's a bad football player. He started the year off pretty good last year, and that's all well and good. But the state of the interior offensive line as a whole, led by Garrett Bradbury and Ed Ingram together, I have to hope that both of them aren't just turnstiles. I have to hope that both of them are okay, one playing next to the other. And then also, oh, by the way, Blake Brandel, the new guy on the block, who wasn't necessarily great last year in the time that he played, he's going to be the starter outright. I'm supposed to feel great about this. I think this is going to be a major topic, I think, throughout this entire season. That and the interior defensive line. So now it's just honestly, like, we've gone so many years, like, even with a new GM, and I do praise Kwesi for the job that he has done as of late, but we've gone so many years with the interior offensive line where I'm at the point now where, yep, okay, it
is what it is.
They're going to get their asses kicked, and you just got to do the best you can. And Sam Darnold, hey, man, he's a turnover machine, but if everything goes right, he can be successful. But, man, if you get 3rd and inches or 4th and inches, everybody else can do the QB sneak, but we can't because we don't have the interior offensive line to do it. I have interior offensive line fatigue. So Ed Ingram is just a microcosm of the bigger picture of the protection up front is not probably going to be there unless we see an absolute miracle turnaround from at least 2 players in the center and the right guard, and hope that this new left guard is going to just kick everyone's ass and, oh, we were completely wrong about him. So I have 0 expectations.
Yeah, I wish we all had the unwavering confidence that Ed Ingram has. The dude has literally played terrible this entire preseason. His PFF score has been terrible towards the bottom of the league at his own position group. Yeah. And in press conferences and interviews, he's like, I felt I played pretty good today.
Bro, he did this last year. Y'all remember? He did this shit last year. Bro, he had one of the worst games that I've ever seen from a guard in my life. And he had the nerve to say, oh, I think I played pretty well. You know what I mean? I think I played pretty good. It's like, bro, come on, man. You got to be, man, check the temperature of the room, Ed. Like, they asking you this question because they know that you need to say, man, I need to work on some things, man. There's things that I'm just not good at, man. It's just not clicking right now. I mean, come on, man. Listen. I liked Ed as far as the pickup. I was like, yo, this kid, after the first year, started out strong, fell off, came back last year, started out strong, fell off again. And this preseason, what we've been seeing, it just looks like he just absolutely fell off. He just hasn't bounced back yet to where I'm comfortable saying, yeah, he should be the starter. I think, and this is real talk, man. I really believe that Kwesi, they really need to sit down in the office and really figure out a way to maybe try to do a kind of trade or something, man. Like something needs to happen with that. I know it's not the fun thing to do. A lot of people, oh man, I'd rather get the flashy wide receiver or running back. We got all that, bro. We need to make a trade and start having some conversations about getting us a guard, man. Like
Meat
for
and
sure.
potatoes.
Nobody's trading a good guard.
Yeah.
Nobody, unfortunately. And I've got the quote right here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This was on August 19th. Ed Ingram on his preseason game 2 performance against the Giants. Quote, felt like I played pretty good, and he added this qualifier, which I find absolutely hilarious. Felt like I played pretty good with the limited amount of reps I was in there for, end quote. And I despise PFF. I don't care for analytics at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an absolute fraud in what I am about to do because this fits my narrative right now. His PFF grades from that game overall was a 39.2.
Wow.
I did pretty good in the limited amount of time I got out there.
So let me ask you guys this. Can we go back to Rick Spielman and Zimmer days when they would just say, you know what? Fuck it. We'll throw Walter Rouse at guard. Hey, guy, you're gonna be a guard now. I know you're a tackle, but fuck it. We're gonna put you in that guard. Like you know how we played the O-line musical chairs?
Idea, quite honestly.
It never works out. When has it worked out?
This isn't going to work out.
I mean, but Rouse is he's athletic. I think he could, I think he's good enough where if you put him there, he might be. I mean, if you think about it, like how much better, I mean, how good do you have to be better than what Ed Ingram's doing, bro? Like Ed Ingram is complete. I mean, the amount of assignments he misses, bro, is just uncalled. It's just unheard of, dog. Like when you watch the film, like if you actually go and watch Vikings film, it'll piss you off if you just lock in on Ed Ingram and really see how he plays. You know what I mean? A lot of his shit go under the radar because you're looking for other things, the flashy shit. But if you watch him, bro, it's poor, bro. It really is, man.
I think we'll be in the mix to possibly sign somebody after teams make their cuts. Tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go out there and we sign another guard or even like a guard center of flexible guy by the end of the week. I mean, it may not be as a starter, but just depth to say, you know what, if Ed Ingram is that bad the first couple weeks, we at least have somebody to turn around to until Risner's ready. And let's be fair, Risner's not some like world beater. He's not the greatest guard out there.
He's average.
So if you have us out here like clamoring and praying for Risner to be our starting guard, that tells you how bad the situation is with Ed Ingram. And we don't even know how good Blake Brandel is at the position. I mean, we've got a little sneak peek of it. I believe last year he got some run, but we don't know. He could be worse.
I think I like Brandel a little better than probably Randy likes him, and maybe you like him, SK too. And this is just based off of how Randy was kind of talking about him. Like, yes, he's not the best, but he did a lot more things that I like other than Ingram, though. Like, I think Brandel gets a grasp at least of the assignment, right? Like, he might not be the best at completing the assignment, but at least he knows the assignment. See, Ed Ingram doesn't even know the fucking assignment, bro. Like, he just skips the whole class. You know what I mean? Like, nah, fuck it, I ain't gonna show up today. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference with him and Brandel, in my opinion. And we also got to remember too, like offensive linemen, they take longer. They're the longest position to actually develop into that kind of solid player. Like most of the time, like you'll get your Christian Darasols and stuff like that are just have it. But a lot of times it takes these linemen like 3 to 4 to 5 years to really become that, top free agent type of guard or something like that, because they've just been putting in work. I mean, my patience is just running thin though, because we've been going through it for so long with the Vikings. It's just like, bro, let's just get it right, bro. Like for real, like let's just get it fucking right. Like they got the tackle right, both tackles, really. Both tackles right, man. Just give us one solid guard, bro. Just one. Like we ain't even trying to be greedy out here, man. For real.
Expect any running game that we have, expect it to be outside of the tackles. It's going to be a lot of stretch plays. It's going to be a lot of toss. Run plays. You're not going to see much up the gut, and you shouldn't. You should have this defense sideline to sideline, soften them up as much as you can on the interior. But if you look at the first couple teams that we play, that interior defensive line that we go up against week 1 against New York, I mean that entire defensive line is no joke. Now, I'm not too worried about the tackle position because we have a Christian Darrisaw on the left side. We have a Brian O'Neill on the right side. But when it comes to Dexter Lawrence, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, it is
That's
going
to be an issue. Then you look at week 2 with San Francisco. Now, it's not Kinlaw anymore. They have somebody else on the interior.
Devon Hargrave.
Yeah, Hargrave. Which is another beast. You know what
no
I'm
one
saying?
to play with. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but week 3, I'm sure we got somebody else.
I think it's the Texans, right?
Is it the Texans week 3?
I believe so. I think it's the Texans. Is it the Texans or is that week 4?
Which, again, if teams really want to scheme against us, they're going to take the old Zimmer scheme and they're just going to place their defensive ends in the interior and get that interior rush. If we feel like we're going to drop back and just sling it around, that's not going to be the case. So eventually it needs to be kind of something's got to be done about it.
And that's the thing. And you got to think about that real. Sorry. Oh, go ahead. You was about to finish something. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
No, I mean, this offseason, that's going to be a position that we look at in free agency. I don't think we're going to necessarily look at that at the top end of the draft, but we're going to have a lot of money to play with. And the majority, if not all of that money should be addressed on the trenches, whether it be interior offensive line or whether it be interior defensive line. Cornerback, I feel like you can grab in the draft and you'll feel pretty good, especially with Mekhi Blackman coming back next year. I think Byron Murphy wants to stick around Minnesota if you can get him at the right price. You'll have a pretty good cornerback room. I don't think Stephon Gilmore will be here after this year. But I think you'll have a pretty solid cornerback room if you pick up a top corner in the draft, or you could pick up a top interior defensive lineman, re-sign Harrison Phillips or give him an extension, and you're feeling a lot better about the interior defensive line than what you would be now. But you have to address the interior offensive line in free agency.
I got to say, too, I feel good about the interior defensive line this year, probably more than I felt in a while when you consider LDR and Taki. Like, I think those two young talents are actually going to surprise us, bro. Like, I know they're making the 53. They have to, bro. They have to. You know what I'm saying? They have to. You think it getting cut? SK, you think one of those?
I think that might be my surprise cut, and I think he finds his way.
Drake Rodriguez? You think Drake Rodriguez is getting cut? Nah, the media page is posting him way too much. He's already a fan favorite. I don't think that's happening.
Well, the social media team, they don't know what the hell is going on.
They posted Mo
it's
Abraham
their job to hype up everybody. Yeah,
exactly.
But guys, I gotta say something. While you guys were going back and forth on the interior offensive line and interior defensive line, I know the Vikings are going to be players in free agency.
Yeah,
guys, I just looked at the free agents for next year. Whatever money they're going to spend, they're going to have to spend it outside of interior offensive line and interior defensive line. There's nothing there. There was, before these recent extensions, there was Kenny Clark with Green Bay and Creed Humphrey with Kansas City, but they both re-signed. There's nothing there next year in those positions in 2025's free agency. So whatever money they're going to spend, if they're going to be smart about it, you're going to have to look at other positions and work like hell in the draft to trade back that first round pick and do what you can to address as many of those positions that you can in the trenches.
Now, how do we feel about Roy too? I mean, Roy, is Roy developing at all? I guess they haven't been playing him a lot, so maybe they see something that we don't see because they're obviously not putting him out there to get too many reps during the preseason. And I'm sure he's making the team. So I mean,
right now, the depth chart for our interior defensive line: Harrison Phillips, James Lynch, Jerry Tillery. Which Harrison Phillips and Jerry Tillery are probably going to be the starters. And then, like I said, James Lynch, Jacqueline Roy, Levi Drake Rodriguez, and then Taki Taimani.
Which I think Taki and LDR, one of the two might get cut. If I had to pick one, I would probably say Taki, even though he did have that really good game. I would say Levi Drake Rodriguez makes the cut and Taki gets he makes the team, Taki gets cut, even though I would want both of them. I think both of them. I think James Lynch is out, right? Like he should be.
Yeah,
done.
it seems like he's a practice squad guy every season.
Yeah.
I mean, the season he got injured may have been the one that he would have made the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we haven't seen much of Jacqueline Roy.
No, we haven't.
Now, is that because he's kind of already a lock to make the roster, or is that because he's just not showing up? We don't know. So I think it comes down to whether it's either, I think James Lynch gets cut, and I think he finds his way on the practice squad. And I think it's between LDR or Taki. One of those guys is getting cut.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of them will. Yeah.
As long as you keep one of them.
As long as you keep one of them, you just got to kind of determine which one.
And Taki was an undrafted free agent as well. So
right.
I think by them investing actual draft pick in LDR, I think LDR might make the roster. And Taki might be the surprise cut.
Yeah.
But you do need depth at that position. So you never know. Jacqueline Roy may be cut, and LDR and Taki both make the team. Who knows?
I'd be fine with that.
Let's see it. Let's ask the real
Find out
question.
tomorrow.
Let's ask the real question, because we're going on an hour. Is Scene going to be a Minnesota Viking after tomorrow? Nope. What time does it have to be in? Doesn't the NFL give them like a deadline?
4 Eastern.
Ooh wee, boy, it's gonna get spicy tomorrow. You hear me? We should have did a show tomorrow night. That's what we should have did, because it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Is Scene gonna be? Is Scene? You say Scene's gonna be out?
He's out of there.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
This was just for you, Randy. You know, I mean, I asked that question just for you.
I'm not doing this anymore. A first round pick that's been doing nothing but farting around in the locker room for 2.5 years. Yeah. But because he's a first round pick, oh my God, there's a chance that we can spark something out of nothing.
Sounds like our QB1.
He's the Harrison Smith replacement. Like, nah, man. I can't wait for this to be over. When he gets cut, no disrespect to Louis Scene, I wish him all the best, but the only thing stopping Louis Scene from being the biggest bust in this team's history is Demetrius Underwood.
The biggest bust, bro. Like
the biggest bust. It's not even close.
He's up there.
He's right there. Not even up there. He's right there.
Because I didn't
really Williamson.
I don't think the expectations
Troy Williams caught touchdown passes. He was on the field. He caught touchdowns in actual games. He dropped a lot too, but at least he was out there to drop those passes. Louis Scene can't even get on the damn field.
But think about this,
apparently you're not good. That's what the coaching staff is telling me. You're not good, and you were a first round pick. Yeah. This needs to be over, bro.
Treadwell. I gotta say, Treadwell probably was one of them too.
He caught touchdowns.
But this is the thing: when we drafted Louis Scene, a lot of Vikings fans didn't even know who the fuck the guy was. You know what I'm saying? Because he really wasn't like touted as one of the popular guys. He kind of went under the radar. So that, I guess that's what makes me struggle with saying he's one of the biggest busts.
Okay, so I had to bring this comment up because you can't keep using him breaking his leg 2 seasons ago.
I'm riding for Scene, RM. Don't worry, I got us.
Cannot. You're gonna be riding for him until about 4 p.m.
The ride might be over, but goddamn it, we ride it.
And the thing is, like, I played this game in 22. I raged out when they did the trade and took Scene, and I was told, you don't know what he's going to be. Okay, fair enough. And then after what has transpired, anytime anyone brings it up, it's like, oh, get over it. Okay, fine. We're moving on. But you can't have it both ways. We can't say, okay, get over it. You're acknowledging that it was a bad pick and then still say, well, it was his leg. And, well, we got to give him one more chance. Like I've had enough. I'm done. 4 p.m. It needs to be over. This is
damn. These fellas are so hard on my boy Lou, man. I don't understand.
Louis Scene is the equivalent of a Geely DVD. You know the J-Lo Ben Affleck movie that bombed. That's Louis Scene.
Me and Randy are gonna be that meme where the dude's standing over the grave. We're gonna be standing over Scene's grave. Like
no. I mean, I'm not trying. Like I feel bad for the guy, but the whole it's almost like Ed Ingram where he said, "Yeah, the limited amount of snaps." Well, with Lewis Sing saying, "Well, a healthy me is a dangerous me," it's like, bro, you've been healthy. You've been healthy for a year and a half. A year and a half.
I haven't seen nothing scary. Nothing.
That hit against Huntley was scary. That was a pop. No, he did his thing.
I don't want to hear about the Harrison Smith replacement. You can't replace Theo Jackson as a first round pick. I like Theo Jackson.
Yeah, me
but
too.
This
needs to end.
I like Theo too, but it's Theo.
We have our future safeties in the building already, and that's Josh Metellus and Cam Bynum. Plain and simple. If you want to run 3 safety sets, Scene's not going to be the guy. It's probably going to be Theo Jackson or Jay Ward. Yeah. Hate to break it to you, but I think me and Randy are on the same page. Scene is out of there. Rap, you feel like he's out of there? You think he's going to make the team?
I think he's surprisingly going to make the team, and I think people are going to be shocked that he actually makes the team. For some reason, I don't know. Like
LDR gets cut
exactly.
too.
Exactly.
I think this is my thing. I think it's going to be hard for Kwesi to really come to grips to get rid of his very first round pick, man. And he got rid of, I said this the other night on our show. I said he got rid of Andrew Booth. I think he was okay. He compromised into that. All right, Andrew Booth. And speaking of Andrew Booth, man, what a horrible game he played.
He's been getting toasted.
He's been getting I mean, yeah. So just throw that out there real quick. But again, I just think I believe the team actually does see something in Lewis C. I don't know why I got the weird feeling. And I wouldn't care either way, honestly. Like I wouldn't care either way.
You will when Bo Richter doesn't make the roster because Lewis Seen took his roster spot.
Who's going to be the sacrificial lamb for Lewis Seen?
Exactly. Yeah, CJ Ham. CJ Ham. Miles Gaskin. Tristan Jackson. Hell no. It's not going to happen.
Those guys going to be like, bruh, coach, you keeping him over me? Like, bro, for what?
He's a first round pick and he broke his leg
first round pick.
You got to give him time to recover. All right.
Needs time.
But one more position group before we move on. Edge rusher. Obviously, Bo Richter is a guy that I think we all kind of feel should make this roster. Mm-hmm. But will he? If we're looking at the depth chart here, obviously we got Jonathan Grenard. We have Pat Jones, Gabriel Murphy in the mix. And then you have Andrew Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, obviously. Jihad Ward, which there's been multiple reports out saying that he's almost a lot to make this roster. Andre Carter, and then obviously Bo Richter. Well, so who's going? Who's staying? Is Bo Richter making this roster? We can make it quick. We don't have to use too much time in here. But
I wouldn't be surprised if he's cut. I do like him, but I just think with all the other positions we've been talking about, that at that position, edge rusher. First off, Andre Carter II, we don't even need to talk about him.
Yeah.
Gabe Murphy, he's been hurt. And then Bo Richter, I like him a lot, but it's just based off of the reporting that I've seen, more likely than not, he's going to be cut.
Now, are you saying Andre Carter, we don't need to talk about him because he's going to
get cut? Because he's going to get cut. Absolutely. Okay.
All right, perfect. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
I think his direct competition, it was Andre Carter and Gabriel Murphy. And everything we've heard out of camp, and he hasn't had much playing time, is they really like Gabriel Murphy.
Did he even play at all? I don't even think he played. Did he play at all?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Like, that's not fair in my opinion. Like, that's not fair in my opinion. I don't give a damn what the camp height said. We talking about practice. Do I need to play the soundbite?
That much though, even as an undrafted free agent, you pay.
Yeah, like why'd they make that mistake though? They did that same shit with number 55. Now we're cutting him tomorrow. You feel me?
Yeah, Andre Carter. They did the same thing with him last year, and Andre Carter ended up making the 53-man roster.
Now he's about to get cut in a couple hours. Now he's about to get cut.
It's the same story all over again. We have a guy
that's the thing. Why? That's the thing. Why they need to put Bo. I disagree. I think Bo should make the team over Murphy if Murphy's injured and hasn't been able to show what he can do during a game, bro.
Well, this is the game that a lot of GMs play with. Now they may have a better player, but who has the better chance of making it through waivers and becoming a practice squad guy for your team?
I'm gonna say because we've seen nothing from him, Gabe might make it.
Yeah.
Because of his injury, there's been no film of this guy. I honestly believe he will clear waivers if they cut him.
Yeah, with the strong outing that Richter gave us those first 2 games,
Richter ain't gonna make it.
I
Somebody
don't
gonna
think he'll
grab
make
him.
which
Yeah, somebody gonna
which
grab him.
at that point, because they're also thinking back to, okay, post-draft process, when we're signing all these undrafted free agents, how many other teams were after this guy, Gabriel Murphy?
Yeah.
How much money did they actually have to put out there to outbid some of these other teams for Gabriel Murphy?
Oh, he was the guy.
Yeah,
Like,
he was the top one.
He
I
should
think
have
he was
went.
the top UDFA.
He should have got
Yeah.
drafted. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
sure a lot of-
Delton said that Murphy was the top UDFA. Yeah. So
Yeah, he should have gotten drafted.
How much do you believe in Gabriel Murphy when he is healthy that he can perform? And none of us obviously see that in camp because we're not there. We haven't seen it in preseason because he hasn't played. So there's a lot of context to this that we don't even know about. That they could be, they probably already have their decision made, saying we're gonna let Bo Richter kind of go through waivers. Hopefully he makes it. We put him on the practice squad, and then we hold on to Gabriel Murphy or vice versa. But every year there's a guy that we release and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we cut this guy. There's no way he makes it through waivers. And he ends up making it through waivers anyways. And he ends up being on the practice squad the entire season. So I could see one of those guys being that guy where we're super surprised he got cut. And then him end up making the practice squad and possibly dressing out a couple games during the season, but not really doing anything during the year. So I believe Andre Carter dressed for a few games last year. I think he was on the 53-man active roster for a couple games. So I wouldn't be surprised there.
Not tomorrow, he won't be.
We'll see.
Cut bait.
As long as Scene ain't on there. But
cut bait tomorrow.
But moving on to that, we're gonna get positive here. We're gonna get positive. We're not gonna talk cuts.
I mean, but it is what it is. Like, that's the time we're in right now. Tomorrow's the day. I mean, people are getting cut. Listen, that when I found out how much some of these guys make in the practice squad, bro, these practice squad guys make like $400,000, bro, to be on the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad. Shit, you get on the practice squad somewhere, shit, you making a good old living.
Yep. So moving on to our next subject, Mr. Mankato 2024, who was the quote unquote MVP of training.
It has to be a rookie, right?
No, doesn't have to be a rookie. Who do you guys think?
Mr. Mankato was a rookie type of war, no?
No, Mr. Mankato is who showed out the most in training camp. And it's not necessarily just preseason games. It's what we've kind of again.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, Justin Jefferson technically would win it every year if you
because it can't be like a first round.
Yeah,
pick.
it's not a superstar player.
It's got to be like
a
day 3 pick, I believe,
or later
an undrafted free agent.
A depth guy, yeah. So outside of the superstars, obviously.
Okay.
Who would be your Mr. Mankato 2024? I'll start with you, Rap.
I already know who yours is, and you know what I mean. I already know who it is, bro. And I might have to let me think real quick. I'm actually gonna go with Nudie though. I'll go with Nudie, man. I think Nudie. He talking about Mr. Mankato Lewis. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll go with Nudie, man. Dwight McLaughlin. I think he, you know, since camp started, his name just started ringing bells from day one. He went out on the field, showed it in games. So he didn't only show it in practice, he showed it in games, and he showed that, you know, especially being a UDFA like that and being able to make the fit. This is saying he does make the 53 tomorrow, which I do believe he will. But to be a defensive back, like a cornerback, right? When we have these vets on the team and him being able to work his way up and make that team, bro, like getting rid of, because I think of Caleb Evans that's the guy that I think is getting cut tomorrow, that I think people are going to be surprised. Like, what? Caleb Evans is gone and he should be. And I think, you know, Dwight just pretty much forced them boys out the door. You know what I mean? So like that guy, that's a hard task to do when you're thinking about being a cornerback in particular, man. So I'm going to go with him for Mr. Mankato, man. I think he proved it and showed and tailed for sure.
That's a good pick for sure. I can't argue against that. What about you, Randy?
I'm going to say it's a tie between Nudie and Tristan Jackson, quite honestly, because Tristan, you see the stats where he has 3 touchdowns in 3 preseason games. You heard what he did all throughout training camp where he's been lights out, where as Nudie, he's been balling. He's been making plays at virtually all 3 levels where bro, when you consider the impact of both of these players, this is why I'm having a tough time choosing between the two. Tristan Jackson and Nudie, respectively, are likely going to be the fourth player on the depth chart at their position.
Mm-hmm.
They've been that good this offseason to where I'm like, hey, have a joint title for Mr. Mankato between those two players. I got to go with both Tristan and Dwight McGlover.
Yeah, because you got to think where they started this offseason. I don't think anybody was expecting either one of these guys to make. Now, I'm gonna take credit
other
from
than
the
you.
jump.
Yeah.
I said Tristan Jackson.
Let's make it clear too, though. SK, you say that every year, but continue.
Hey, he made the 53, not the final one before week 1, but
he did get brought up. He got brought up.
But obviously those are two great picks, and obviously you guys know my infinite love for Tristan Jackson, no Diddy. But outside of those two, there's a guy that you got to give credit to, and that's Will Reichard. We haven't had. Now, I'm not gonna curse him.
Okay,
I like it.
Now he's gonna be a beast. Don't be scared.
I'm not gonna sit here and say he's gonna be the best kicker in the league next year. Justin Tucker, I believe, still holds that title, but we can finally breathe a little bit as Vikings fans and know we have a legitimate kicker when he's drilling, and I mean not barely making
through the middle
on 57-yard field goals in the preseason of his rookie year. You should feel really comfortable with a guy like this. And we all hate bringing this name up, but even Blair Walsh, with the great year that he had his rookie year, which you can say all you want about Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh was legit up until he missed that kick against Seattle. So look at the stats. He was great, but he wasn't drilling 57-yard field goals and making them by 10 yards like Will Reichard is. So Tristan Jackson obviously is my number one.
Yeah.
McGlovern is definitely right there. If I'm doing top 3, Will Reichard's got to be in the mix too.
I like that. I like that pick. That's good thinking.
We all know as Vikings fans how important that kicking position is.
Absolutely.
Every team. You cannot have a mediocre kicker. It's going to lose you games. And we've seen it done time and time again from our kicking position, whether it was Daniel Carlson, whether it was freaking God, I forgot the dude that we just freaking let go. Greg Joseph. I mean, time and time again, it's just losing by a kicker, by a missed kick or a missed extra point. Those days are over. I feel extremely confident.
Man, please.
I think because of the preseason,
stop this conversation.
Because of the strong preseason he has had to, I think it's been a fantastic gateway into the regular season. Daniel Carlson turned out to be a good kicker, but if you remember, I certainly remember throughout training camp that they were looking for every reason to get rid of Kai Forbath. Daniel Carlson wasn't necessarily knocking people's socks off. And I even, back when I was writing for the Viking Age, I said, this is going to turn out really, really bad. And I think the headline was, Daniel Carlson is the kicker the Vikings deserve. And that was before week 1 against Green Bay, where he missed 3 or 4 field goals and got cut right after that. They forced that issue. This seems to be with Will Reichard a natural progression. He's gaining confidence. He's been outstanding in the preseason, in training camp, that I think going into week 1 against the Giants, albeit it's on the road, he's in a much better spot compared to, say, Daniel Carlson or other kickers, I would say.
And you being a Walmart poster boy, come on, man. They don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying?
And you actually have a supportive head coach that,
for sure,
he's not going to sit. Now, listen, when that Green Bay game happened with Daniel Carlson and he missed, what was it?
He deserved to be.
No, it was like 3 or 4. It may have been 4.
It was 4 because I think he missed one in overtime. So it was
he missed 2 in overtime and he missed 1 in regulation, if I'm not mistaken. So he cost us a game 3 different times in the same exact game against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. So there was a lot of emotion in that game.
I was so pissed. I was pissed for 2 weeks.
I was don't let him on the team plane or the team bus. Leave his ass in Green Bay and get the hell out of there.
We wound up tying that game, right? Wasn't that the tie?
It ended up as a tie. He went.
I was so pissed. It felt like a fucking loss. It was like 31-31 or some bullshit.
I don't remember the score, but he went 1 for 4 in that game.
Because I'm gonna tell you one thing I remember about that game that was amazing was that I always give Kirk his credit during this game is I throw to Adam Thielen. Boy, I throw to Adam Thielen between them two defenders. Boy, I was not only the throw, but Adam Thielen's concentration, man. I'll tell you, boy, I love me some Adam Thielen, man, when he used to be in his bag, and that was one of them days. For sure.
He was that guy when he was in his prime, for sure. But if it wasn't for Mason Crosby in that game, we would have lost it. Because Mason Crosby, I think, missed 2 or 3 field goals to win it in overtime against us as well. So it was just like a kicking massacre in that game for some reason. But again, Will Reichert has got to be in the top 3 for Mr. Mankato, in my opinion. I don't think I don't think there's anybody else that you can throw in there, right?
No.
You know why I'll lean a little bit towards Tristan Jackson too to win it too, though.
Tristan Jackson.
Well, maybe that. And he gave our boy number 9 without any kind of bullshit. He's just like, here you go, bro. You deserve this. You know what I mean? I'll take Kirk's old number. You know what I mean, because he don't mean shit. So,
no. Kirk had Tristan's number.
Yeah, because what was he number 8 in college? Was he number 8 in college or something?
No. He was like 88, I think. He was he was in the 80s.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean that right there, man. Hey, look here. In my book, Tristan, you're great, man. You know what I mean? It don't get much better than you, man. You know what I mean? Not only do we supposedly look alike, you gave my boy his number without any kind of
all you got to do is go in the mirror after this show and thank yourself. All right, Rat?
For sure, man. Shout out Tristan, man. I really do hope he makes the team, man. For sure, man. I'm pulling for him now. You got me on board. I mean, I'm gonna get you on the Cameron Dantzler train eventually, but
oh God, Cameron Dantzler, get out of here, man.
If we're not Cameron Dantzler on the roster, we wouldn't.
We're not gonna start this rap.
I tell you what, man, I'm just honored to be on this show with 2 NFL legends in Will Greer and Tristan Jackson.
I know.
Seriously. And with Will Greer incognito wearing a Vikings hat after playing for the Eagles, I mean, that's dedication right there.
Yeah. Hey, man, the hard.
And we still make sure everybody remember, do your homework this week. We need to figure out who Randy's NFL player is. So, y'all help us out, man. Find Randy's, search through every 53-man roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's find it. He's out there.
I don't know if there's one out there, man.
Oh, we're going to find one.
I'll go on Madden. I'll go on Madden tonight. Trust me. I'll send it over. I'll find one.
My bet is that it's an offense or defense alignment. It's going to be offense or defense.
Oh.
No, I'm going to say cornerback. I'll say
face ain't fat enough.
Nah,
I'll say cornerback.
I'm going to go offense. Defensive lineman might be a retired guy. I'm gonna do some research.
He has to be active,
or just a young Eddie Murphy, like Papa Gary said.
Oh, that's crazy. I've been told it's Carlton Banks. It's funny, on my bad days it's Carlton Banks, and then on my good days I'm told I look like Ray J. But for the most part, it's
Ray J. Ray J.
Hey, when I get that fresh lineup, man,
let's go.
I wear the button-up shirt.
Hey,
hey, what's happening?
Bad jokes, Brian said Randy is not Stephon Diggs, guys.
No.
I'm not really Stephon Diggs. But that's your guys' homework, chat.
Yeah, that's
for
the
this
homework,
week.
Man.
Next Monday, we will have Randy's NFL twin. So that's your guys' homework for the week. Come back.
Realistic Randy's NFL twin. Active player.
Yeah. So, but again, appreciate you guys for tapping in. We're gonna wrap it up there. Anything you guys want to leave the people with before we wrap it up?
I'll leave them with real quick, man. Just we appreciate everybody supporting. Just continue to do that, man. We love y'all for that. This is just the beginning, man. This panel, like, I'm honored to be on here with these 2 fellas, man. I think we really got good vibes. We've been planning this, and it's coming to light now, man. And we're enjoying it, man. We hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And this channel is gonna go crazy with us 3, man, like in a good way. Just talking Vikings football and having a good time, man. So there's plenty more to come, and just stay tapped in. Y'all know how it go, man. Stay tapped in with us for sure.
Just appreciate everybody that's been supporting this channel. We've been planning this for, gosh, at least a year, maybe a year and some change.
Yeah, took a break on it. But
took a break, but we feel really good about this show and what it could become. So,
yeah. Again, shout out to you guys in the first 3 weeks actually having this thing going. We're almost at 250 subscribers.
Let's go.
That's a big jump, y'all. Shout out to the chat, man. We appreciate you guys. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hell, hit that share button. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, your cat, your baby mama. Tell them all. But again, appreciate you guys for tapping in.
Hey, real quick, SK, real quick, because Gary said, Randy, give us a skit. We'll tell you this. Get us the once we get to 1,000 subscribers, man, Randy gonna drop a skit for the channel. You do that, Randy? You do that? You drop one skit specifically for the Purple Parlor channel, man. We get to 1,000 subscribers, man. Tell you people.
Let's one up it. If we get to 1,000, all 3 of us will do a skit.
I'll do a skit too. Yeah, how about that?
We'll do a skit together.
It would make sense if all 3 of us did it.
We'll put together something. Obviously, Randy is
that makes sense.
Yeah. Randy will orchestrate it, but we'll do a skit together. We'll send our video clips and edit it all up and make it look good. So, hey, get the subscribing, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? Tell your people.
Yes, sir. Hit that 1,000. We got a skit for you, all 3 of us. But again, thank you guys for tapping in, man.
Yeah, man.
Until next time, you know what it is. It's Purple Parlor, SK, Realistic Randy, Rap. Next Monday, we live. Peace.
I say the same. I say the same.